Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. How are you this morning? Welcome to Complex PTSD TV. My name's Linda. I'm your certified trauma recovery coach, and it's wonderful to be here with you. First of all, thank you everybody who's commented down below and sent me messages on YouTube saying thank you for the channel. It really does my heart good to know that you've been helped as well. It's really important that we connect and share with each other, especially with complex PTSD, and especially if we've got an abandonment wound. Good morning, Lisa. Because with the abandonment wound and with complex trauma, it says you're better off alone. It has this unconscious, strong message, and it can send us into isolation, but it can also say, I'm better off doing life on my own. And it's just not the truth. We're wired to do life together. So, with all that having been done and said, remember to like and subscribe, because in our mental health challenges and life, there are so many people who, especially with complex PTSD, are living with so much incredible internal fear. That's not who we are as an adult, but need to know that there are people that are talking out and that we can come together in a variety of ways, all of which I'm actually going to be bringing more to you so that we can connect and get the recovery process happening. Okay. Good evening, Valdine from Canada. Great stuff. Good to have you here. It's damn freezing down under this morning, and we've just come into spring, so I'm sitting here going, I'm so cold. Okay, so today we're going to go through some rules for protecting yourself in relationships. Now, when I say this, I want you to remember with complex PTSD, we have to be careful, because it's like living with an octopus, with all the tentacles around, and there's always different points that we have to address. So it's not always just black and white, cut and dried, but what it is part of a process of information. Good morning, Susan. So that we can, as we go through the information, we can slot in this bit and go, right, what's my one next step? What's the questions I need to ask? Hi, Kathy. Cold there. You just come out of summer. And when we ask the next lot of questions, then we begin to build a whole package that we can put together for ourselves and say, right, what can I do about this? How can I move on from this particular factor? So in relationships aren't just a relationship with a significant other. They are the relationships we have with our children. So for me, in my time in life, it's with my adult children, and it will go on to be with my grandchildren. It's with my friendships. I don't currently have a significant other, and that's totally by choice, because I know that I have to do my recovery first. Okay, it's healthy to learn to be single, because we come out of our families, we can come out of it being codependent. So I think people pleasing and the road that takes us down, which is then complicated by complex PTSD. So we then need to unpack that. Okay. And also an important ingredient is emotional strength. Now, when you think about somebody who's emotionally strong, I want you to sit and take a moment and wrap your mind around emotional strength means being able to say, no, that's not who I am. And especially with narcissists, people, now, I'm not talking about full-on blown narcissist. I'm talking about people who have narcissistic tendencies where they're very selfish and very self-focused. So it doesn't matter what you say to them. What will happen is they'll turn around and say to you, no, that's not how you're feeling, or no, that's not what you've got to be feeling, or you can straight up say what you need and they'll just ignore you. So I want you to think about those kind of relationships as well, where emotional strength is needed so that you are fully aware of who you are, what you want, what you need, and you can vocalize that in a relationship. And yes, I do that with my kids, and especially my youngest son, Nick. Nick and I have a really, I suppose, a really good relationship, from where he'll say he can see something, and then I can say, well, no, that's not who I am, and that's not what I need right now. So if you were to put that in the context of your life, even in relationship with yourself, what would you say now is something that you need and something that you want to achieve? And what's your self-talk saying? Is your self-talk saying, yes, I can achieve that. Yes, there's hope. And yes, I can turn this around and have joy and go, right, this is going to be damn hard to take this one next step, but I'm going to choose to do it and not worry about the outcome, because the complex PTSD will, send off 100 alarm bells, but I'm going to do it despite the alarm bells. Okay. Now, because of our mental health challenges, we want to avoid people who we can't trust with our emotional and mental health. All right. So we've got to learn who those people are, what they look like. People who are unsafe, and I've done videos on safe relationships, so look at them, because they have images on there for safe relationships, and there will be information in the new library about free library about safe relationships as well, because if we can put all the pieces together to know what a safe relationship is, then we can take that information and identify that someone is unsafe. Now, whether they mean to be unsafe or not is not the question. We have to say, that's not safe for me, and I can't go down that road. And particularly with sexual abuse, okay? Now, sexual abuse, if we've experienced sexual abuse, we can unknowingly go into an unsafe situation. Okay, and I've done that. I absolutely did that as an adult, and quite frankly, I felt like an idiot afterwards. But I didn't know certain sets of information. So I believed someone that we were just going to another person's house for dinner, and then I ended up in a situation where I ended up having to have sex that I didn't want, and I was just frozen and I couldn't move. Now, if you've been sexually abused, that kind of thing can happen. It's normal because it happened in our childhood, and we go into freeze response and we don't know how to move, we don't know how to talk. We are literally frozen because we feel unsafe. And that's before the sex even happens. We literally are frozen, and because it comes out of left center. So I had to go and see my counsellor and say, look, what is it that happened that I don't know? And I had to go and learn about all this stuff, how men act and behave and what they think like, because I had no idea. All right, I took it on face value that we were going to a friend's place for dinner, and that was okay by me. I thought I was safe. So we have to go. There is so much about life, and for me, about men, that I didn't know, and I have to learn in order that I am safe. We need to be able to learn how to set boundaries and limits in relationship. So if somebody's a narcissist, we may be vulnerable with them, and we may give them a second chance to show us, that they're not listening, that they're not taking on board what we're saying, that they aren't hearing what we need, even though we're up front. And then, I'm always like, is this really happening? And then if it happens again, then that's it. I can't go down those roads again because it's unsafe. And if it's unsafe, then it decreases my mental and emotional health. So I won't do that anymore. I just, I have the emotional strength that I just say, no, thank you. As much as I think you're a great person, no, thank you. Because it's in our vulnerable moments that we need to know that we're safe. All right. So we have to be prepared to let some people go. And if they're not willing to give us the respect that we deserve, that we have of ourselves. So self-respect is a key ingredient. And remember to choose people by their character. Now, character is something that's seen over time, whereas personality is something that is seen instantaneously. All right. And we think, oh, they're a nice person. And then, we wait till their character emerges and the masks are down. And then we go, oh, okay, that's a bit of red flags happening here. So I need to go. So trust your gut instinct with red flags. And when people used to say that, I used to think, what do you mean by gut instinct? Because with complex PTSD, we're so used to numbing our emotions to be safe, right, that I didn't realize I didn't have a gut instinct. And as I've gone through and done the recovery, all of a sudden I have really good gut instinct because I don't have to numb my emotions anymore to be safe. And it's numbing emotions isn't just, oh, well, I'm numbing my emotions. There's a number of, not just contexts, but there's a number of elements that come into play which are different for each of us with complex PTSD as to what, first of all, why the brain's on automatic numbing emotions and we didn't know. And next of all, why did I have to go through that? How do I move forward without going back into the past? With complex PTSD, it's present here now. So there's no use going back and doing a rerun of the past, all right? We start dealing with what we've got now, here, right now. And yeah, remember that everyone's always on their best behaviour first off. And, they can't always maintain that. So be very careful and make sure you heal the traumas from the past, all right? Because if we haven't healed them, we'll take them into the next relationship. And we want to be able to go, well, no, I don't want to take that with me. Let's leave the luggage and let's build new experiences, all right? So make it a healthy thing. And remember, no one's coming to save us. These other people aren't here to save us. We have to do our work first. We're the one that comes in and does all the hard work. And as I explained to one of my clients this week, remember that with recovery, we don't go backwards. It can feel like we go backwards, but what we actually do is end up having a pause because then we reflect and go, what's my one next step? I used to think, oh, am I going backwards in my recovery? And I used to be so upset and, give myself a hard time and think, why haven't I got this together? But it's not, because so much of the complex PTSD recovery, the trauma is held in our body. So we need time to process what our body's trying to tell us as well. Okay? So not just the brain part, but the body part also. And most importantly, we go through a process of learning how to love ourselves. Now, that's not love myself on the outer who people can see. It's having a genuine care and concern for who I am as a person and my place in life as well. Okay? I thank you all for listening. If you've got any questions, please feel welcome to leave them down below and I'm happy to answer them. However, now I must go and warm myself up at gym. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for joining in and bye for now.